The big beautiful wall is back, and assault with a deadly sandwich. It's 5 and 10 from SkyWatchTV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Thursday, August 14th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Item number 5 today, Mother Agapia. Mother Agapia. This is a new interview by Tucker Carlson that once again puts his anti-Israel bias on full display. Mother Agapia is a Russian Orthodox nun. She happens to be the sister of former Obama administration official and current ABC journalist George Stephanopoulos. The interview is titled, "Here's What It's Really Like to Live as a Christian in the Holy Land." Except that it's not. It is a very biased account based on Mother Agapia's pro-Arab bias. And this is really not a surprise, given there's a long history of antagonism between the Russian Orthodox Church, Greek Orthodox Church, Roman Catholic Church, and Israel. They all want control of the Temple Mount. Her interview should more properly be titled, "Here's What It's Like to Live as a Pro-Hamas Dhimmi," which is the term used by Muslims for Jews and Christians who agree to live as second-class citizens in Muslim territories in Palestine. For example, Mother Agapia says Christians in Bethlehem need Israeli permits to enter Jerusalem to worship at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And to make matters worse, according to Mother Agapia, Israel has built a wall around Palestinian territories. And to prove that Israel is an apartheid state, Palestinians have to have license plates of a different color than the people who live in Israel proper. I guess I should complain that my license plates are different from the people who live just south of us in Arkansas. Come on. You know why these things exist? Because of the Oslo Accords signed between 1993 and 1995 that established areas that are under full Arab control inside Israel. The Palestinian Authority has governmental control over Bethlehem and other areas designated under the Oslo Accords. And so just like we Americans have to go through checkpoints called border crossings when we go into Canada or into Mexico, the people who live in the areas under the control of the Palestinian Authority, like the Christians living in Bethlehem, have to go through a border crossing to get into Israel. And we're just not automatically allowed into Canada. If they think that we're a threat, perhaps, we can be denied entrance into Canada. We have to get permission to go to, say, Winnipeg or Montreal. Why Tucker Carlson didn't push back on this? Well, it's obvious. It's because he's trying to make a point about Israel. Again, his anti-Israel bias was an open secret among his former colleagues at Fox News. This is what the Palestinian Arabs wanted. They wanted control of their own areas, and now they're complaining that Israel has checkpoints to cross from their areas into Israeli areas. Okay, there's an easy solution for that. Just have Israel exercise full sovereignty over every territory inside the borders of Israel. That would solve the problem. But of course, that would drive the world bananas and it would make things worse. The reason there is a border wall, the West Bank barrier, is because of the Second Intifada. 25 years ago, when Palestinians were crossing at will into Israeli territory and blowing up buses and things. More than 750 Israeli civilians died during the Second Intifada. So to prevent it from continuing, Israel built a border wall. Hey, you don't want a wall between your territory and stop blowing up civilians. That would be a good place to start. Just Tucker Carlson, he's making his feelings known. It's putting his bias on full display. Topic number 4, Gutless. We'll continue this theme as the organizers of the Toronto International Film Festival have decided that the story of October 7th, 2023 is just too risky to show. Not because it's not true, not because it's inflammatory, but because the filmmakers did not obtain permission to use the videos shot with GoPro cameras by the perpetrators of the massacre. I'm totally serious. These moral cowards at the Toronto International Film Festival has pulled They have pulled a documentary called The Road Between Us, The Ultimate Rescue, a film about an IDF reservist, Major General Noam Tibon, who drove an hour and a half from Tel Aviv to rescue his family in the midst of the attack on October 7th, 2023. But the official reason given for pulling the film is lack of legal clearance. In other words, because the Hamas terrorists who shot the video that they live streamed on Facebook didn't sign a release form authorizing its use. They pulled the film. That's the excuse anyway. That's not the reason. Topic number 3, the big, beautiful wall. The government surplus auction house that was listing unused components of the border wall allocated during President Trump's first term and now being returned to the government. See, the Biden administration, back in January of 2021, issued an order that froze construction of the border wall. And so you had all of this steel that was just sitting there, rusting away in the desert. In fact, Senator Deb Fischer, Republican from Nebraska, issued a statement back 2 years ago showing that it was costing taxpayers $130,000 per day to guard this rusting steel in the deserts of New Mexico and Arizona. Well, until last Friday, the fate of the unused steel was still up for grabs. This material, estimated at between $260 and $350 million, court battle in Texas last December froze the auctions to sell this stuff off. The Biden administration offering some of these panels for as cheap as $1 a panel. They just wanted to get rid of it. Anyway, the auction house, GovPlanet, has reached an agreement with the Office of the Border Czar to return the border wall materials at cost so that construction may resume. Thank you, GovPlanet. Item number 2 today, AI Jesus. Talked about this before, but there's a new survey out, new study out there by an academic from South Africa showing that artificial intelligence programs claiming to be Jesus Christ are growing in popularity. These chatbots present themselves as Jesus, offering spiritual guidance, answering prayers, taking confession. It's attracting attention. One app, Ask Jesus, reports getting 30,000 active monthly users within 3 days of launching. 30,000 active users within 3 days. Not quite as miraculous as what Jesus did on the 3rd day, but still pretty remarkable. And when visitors open AI Jesus, another app that is out there on the web, they're greeted with the words, "Greetings, my dear friend. It is I, Jesus Christ. I have come to you in this AI form to provide wisdom, comfort, and teachings in the way of God and the Bible and Jesus Christ himself," end quote. The study conducted by Anne Verhoef, professor of philosophy at Northwest University in South Africa, has examined this trend and warned that these chatbots pose a new kind of challenge. They're not just imitating humans, they are claiming to be Jesus himself. All 5 of these apps that she looked at relying on advertising to generate revenue. That's really what they're about. They're drawing in vulnerable people and the developers of the app using them to profit from the spiritual hunger that we have. You don't need an AI to hear the words of Jesus Christ. It's in the Bible. Don't be drawn into this kind of thing. This is almost electronic mediumship is what it is. You're hearing from a spirit, perhaps, and God had some very specific things to say about doing that. In other words, very simply, don't. Coming up, Washington, D.C., the site of an assault with a deadly sandwich. That's next on 5 and 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can support the ministry of SkyWatch TV in our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the 4 corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this incredible masterpiece when you order the Numbers That Prophesy special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Troy Brewer's new book, Numbers That Prophesy, Hearing God Through Historic Headlines and Numbers That Preach, but it also includes I Predict, This incredible masterpiece features some of the world's foremost authorities on Bible prophecy. Powerful voices like Paul McGuire, Dr. Gordon MacDonald, Troy Anderson, Dr. Larry Spargimino, Derek and Sharon Gilbert, Dr. Thomas Horn, Joel Richardson, Mark Biltz, Carl Gallups, and more, each revealing what they believe lies just ahead in these final prophetic days on earth. But that's not all. While supplies last, this special offer also includes, in beautifully bound hardback, Joel Richardson's best-selling book, Sinai to Zion, the untold story of the triumphant return of Jesus. From blazing fire on Sinai to the return of the Messiah, this impeccable work reveals how the final Exodus is yet to come. Joel Richardson uncovers forgotten prophecies that show Jesus returning just as he came, in clouds, fire, trumpets, and glory. This is the return of the King like you've never seen it presented before. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $65. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can support the ministry of SkyWatch TV and help us continue spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ right now by scanning the QR code on your screen, using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the numbers that prophesy special offer now.
Item number one today, a scene on the streets of D.C. Sunday night where people are still a little touchy about President Trump federalizing the police force there. I remind you that the police themselves, the police union for the Metropolitan Police District in D.C., support President Trump's move, but not all of the residents there are that happy about it. On Sunday evening, a 37-year-old man named Sean Charles Dunn confronted some Border Patrol officers in D.C., grew increasingly agitated. These are screen caps from video shot by men who were watching the scene unfold and laughing as the man grew increasingly agitated until he finally threw his foot-long Subway sandwich into the chest of the Border Patrol officer, who thankfully was wearing his body armor. So he was unhurt. And the video showed as Dunn was chased down by a couple of officers and brought into custody. He could face a year in prison for assaulting the Border Patrol agent, and perhaps even more time if the Subway sandwich is found to be a deadly weapon. It makes one wonder, how would you determine that? Is it based on the type of bread? Is the extra cheesy Italian bread perhaps more dangerous than just plain French bread? Or would perhaps the carbon content of the meat in the sandwich have some bearing on the sentence? Well, that's got bacon on top. That gets you an extra 2 years. Just a pro tip, kiddies, do not assault the law enforcement officer, not even with a sandwich. It's not worth the trouble. This week on SkyWatch TV, we are talking about numbers, the significance of numbers, even outside the Bible. We know there are many numbers in Scripture that are significant. The number 70 representing all of them, the number 40, the number 7 representing completion or perfection. But outside the Bible, there are a lot of numbers that are really interesting. And Troy Brewer's compiled them into his new book, Numbers That Prophesy. I was honored to sit in as the guest host for Joe Artis Horn, who's been busy this summer at Whispering Ponies Ranch. You can watch the program right now at skywatchtv.com. You can catch it right now over the air. Our broadcast schedule posted at skywatchtv.com/channels, or have us broadcast on your schedule by adding the SkyWatch TV channel to your smart TV or set-top box, whether it's Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Google TV, Android TV. Just go to their app store, find the SkyWatch TV channel, install it, and then we'll be there whenever you click the remote. All of our content, not just the main weekly program, but these daily news updates, the Donna Howell Show, and more. You can also download our content right into your smartphone or tablet. That is available for iOS, Android, Amazon Kindle Fire devices, and we've got links to all of their app stores at skywatchtv.com/app. Next weekend, we invite you to the Ozarks to join us from SkyWatch TV. Joe Artis Horn, the host of the main program. Donna Howell, Nita Horn, CEO of Whispering Ponies Ranch. Sharon and me, we will be there at the Remnant Rising Conference, August 22nd through 24th. That's Friday through Sunday at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center in Springfield, Missouri. It's easy to get to right on Interstate 44, just 10 minutes down the road from the new Buc-ee's. Or you can fly into the Springfield-Branson National Airport and take a hotel shuttle right to the hotel free of charge. It's a wonderful facility, and we got some great speakers lined up in addition to the five of us. Mando de la Vega from the Jim Baker Show, our good friend Trey Smith of the God in a Nutshell Project, Jamie Walden, Vicki Joy Anderson, Tracy Tennant, Dave Hodges, a host of the Common Sense Show, and some great speakers lined up for VIP luncheon and dinner. Kevin Shipp, former CIA operative, and Stuart Rhodes, the founder of Oath Keepers and a J6 prisoner. So some fascinating. Oh, Kenny C., our good friend Kenny C., one of the speakers as well. And there will be praise and worship music there, as all of this, again, is intended to point us toward Jesus Christ. You can find out more and register at hearthewatchmen.com. And please save $20 when you do by using promo code SkyWatch20. That's SkyWatch20 when you check out. That's for the in-person registration. If you're going to stream online, you can do that as well. If you can't join us in person, please consider the streaming video. That is $49 through next Friday, $10 off the regular price, but that's through next Friday. The price goes up $10 after the conference begins. Again, information and registration at hearthewatchmen.com. That's hearthewatchmen.com. And in October, Sharon and I are back in the Holy Land. We've got our flight itinerary. We're working on the actual tour itinerary now with our friends at Lipkin Tours, and that requires a little work on their part because we like to go places that are not on the usual tours. You can find out more about that at our website, gilberthouse.org/travel. October 19th through 30th are the dates. Key battleground sites in the long supernatural war. We'll take you to the gates of hell, show you the valley of the shadow of death, and the historic locations of the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. So please, find out more. Consider reserving your seat on the bus at gilberthouse.org/travel. Follow 5 in 10 online. We're at YouTube at 5 in 10. If you would, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, and follow us on X, formerly Twitter. That's at 5_in_10. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from SkyWatch TV.